So we're on the reassembly of the top end now, and I've installed the new shims. Haven't worked out what I hope are the right clearances, and the cam buckets and all that I've put together with a good lube of the engine oil, and I've been using a little syringe filled with oil to get in the tight places. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but it seems like a sensible thing to me. Try and get everything lubed up as much as... I don't know if you can hear that. Somebody down the road there is just redlining their sports bike. I live near a bypass, and sometimes you can hear the people caning the arses off their sports bikes, like that one just then. Anyway, so yeah, I've gone through everything. I've put the shims in, the cam buckets in, and the cam buckets particularly I put a film of oil all around them before I assembled them. And then I've got a bit of a concern because I haven't got assembly lube, this kind of red assembly lube that goes on the cam bearings, and some people online seem to say that it's the best stuff to use. Others, and I'm sticking with this because it's all I've got, is others say that if the bike's not going to stand, then engine oil is okay, because over time it drains away from the bearings, but if the bike is going to be reassembled and started, then that doesn't matter so much, and that the thick greasy lube is there so that if the engine stands for a while, it stays put like a grease. So that made some sense to me. I hope it's right. If anybody's got other opinions and want to put a comment in, feel free, but hopefully the next 2 or 3 days I'll have this put together. It's the 19th of June 2018 right now, so anyway, I'm going to carry on and see how we go on. Also, the tip from Malk about putting the marks on the chain and the shaft it's been really helpful, because I've just been able to drop them back on and they're exactly where they came off. Obviously going to go through the timing before I start it, but it seems like a pretty helpful tip, so let's see how we go. So when it comes to tightening these cam cap bolts, there's a sequence which is a kind of outward spiral, the same as you use on cylinder heads, and they tighten down to about 10 pound-foot. Perhaps it's because I'm some kind of idiot amateur, I don't know. I was tightening these cam caps down. They're supposed to be 10 foot-pounds. That's not a lot. I'd got my torque wrench set down to 6 to start with, and just tightened them up. That's pretty much the last one that I'm doing, and it goes loose. So I've loosened them all. I've taken it out, and I don't know if you can see, there's a nice little coil of alloy on the end of that bolt, and I've stripped the end of the thread. So I don't know what to do. The thought of having to pull it all apart and, I don't know, have it helicoiled or something, I don't know. Just had enough right now. Sick of it. One thing after another. There we go. Well, I just popped the bolt back in to see, you know, how it took in the thread, just to see, and when I pulled it out, all of this came out with it. So to me, well, I don't know, maybe someone else knows better than I, but that looks to me like that's a helicoil that was in there that shredded and came out. I don't know, maybe it's been helicoiled already. So don't know if you can see the tip of my finger there. These are like little shards of metal. What I've done is I've disassembled all the caps, all of them, all 8, and I've used, let me see a bit of a mess there, hang on. I've used little stripped cotton buds that just got a tiny thread of cotton on the end, just down like this, just turned them around just to see if I'm pulling out, you know, anything what I feared, and I am. So on the tip of my finger you can see the kind of shit that's coming out. The tiny little shards of metal. So I don't know, maybe my torque wrench is set wrong, but I had it set on 6 foot-pound or whatever it's called, 6, when the setting here is 10.5, and I thought, well, I'll go around them all on 6 and then go around again 8 and then 10, you know. And they were all took up. This is, as usual, was the last one. This one over here was the one that let go. And you know, you tighten it around, you can feel it, and then suddenly it went loose. And this one over here also, I thought, didn't feel like it was still taken up anymore. And so this was one, when I pulled it out, got all these springs of metal out of there. But now most of the bores seem to have this little bit of crap in the bottom. I wonder if it's the leftover from drilling, you know, from the drillings, but I guess that would have all been washed out, wouldn't it? I don't know. So right now I just feel like covering the bike up with the cover and coming back in a year. That's how I feel at the moment. In amongst my gear I have got the helicoil kit that's M10, I think they're M10 bolts. So suppose I've got the option, just not sure really if they'll take that kind of, you know, if they're up to the job. I don't know.